Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavna. In this lecture, we are going to continue with the topic that is called as biodiversity. So already in the ecology we have started and we are continuing with the third most important topic called as biodiversity. In the last few classes, we are dealing about biodiversity. So in biodiversity, what we have dealt? Mainly we have dealt about who coined the term biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Means varying richness of species is called as biodiversity, and it is associated with various levels of organization. So we have started slowly how many species are present, how many are animal species, how many are plant species. About 70% are animal species only. Only very few, about 22% are plants. So then we have started the different types of biodiversity called as genetic biodiversity, ecological and species biodiversity. So many terms we have seen related to that. Then next we have continued with how there is loss of biodiversity taking place. Normally, how species are important to ecosystem, two famous scientists have given called as Stillman as well as Paul Ehrlich, who proposed the term rivet poppet hypothesis. Rivet poppet hypothesis was given by Paul Ehrlich. And then another famous scientist called as Stillman, he showed less yearly variations. So basically the important thing here you should remember is what is associated with loss of biodiversity. In the loss of biodiversity, we have started with how many species are totally extinct. So in the total number of species, if you take, about 784 species are already extinct. About 15,000 species are going to get extinct. So totally, see, this is associated with loss of biodiversity. Till now, how many species are got extinct are 784 species. How many are going to get extinct is 15,000 species now are going to get extinct in the full world. So what are the famous examples where they are classified in our Neet textbook for the species who got extinct? For the species who got extinct, that is dodo from Mauritius. I'm revising many times so that this is an important Neet question. Every alternative year they are asked. They'll ask you examples that are related to it. So dodo is belonging to area called as Mauritius. Then Stellar's sea cow. Stellar's sea cow. It is Russia. Then the Thylacine, which belongs to Australia. Then Bali, Javan, Caspian of tiger. These all are subspecies which are belonging to main species called as tiger. Then quagga, which is belonging to Africa. Why they are belonging? Because they got extinct here only in this area. They are found exclusively only in this area. Suppose dodo is found only in Mauritius, you will not find anywhere else. So basically they got extinct in that area. So in that area you find no species. In the world you do not find dodo because it got already extinct. Extinct means what? We cannot see the animal once again. So that is called as extinction. Why this extinction has taken place is because of so much over exploitation by humans. By this all things, this extinction has taken place. So dodo from Mauritius, Stella sea cow is from Russia, then Thylacine is for Australia, quagga is Africa, Bali, Javan, Caspian of tiger, which is belonging to subspecies. These all are the subspecies which are belonging to main species called as tiger. So these are important in Neet point of view. Stellar sea cow belongs to, it got extinct, it belongs to means you should answer it is Russia. Like the Thylacine is Australia. 3-4 times if you read only you can answer. Because one time if you read, these all are very difficult to remember. Because all are these like scientific names. And Bali, Javan, Caspian, also important Neet question. They'll ask you they belong to which species which got extinct. Is they are belonging to tiger. So this is about the main things that are associated with loss of biodiversity. Another important point that you should remember is what are the four causes that are related to that of loss of biodiversity. Already we have discussed in the last class, so I'm going a little bit faster. So the main four things which are associated with loss of biodiversity is, the first one is alien species invasion. Co-extinction. The third is, and you see, first one is like alien species extinction. The third is habitat loss and fragmentation. The fourth is associated with the fourth one is over exploitation. So these are the four things which are associated with loss of biodiversity. So these four are called as evil quartet. Means quarter means what? Four. So evil quartet, they are divided into four halves. So be evil, why you say? Because of these reasons only, mainly the species got extinct. So that's why you should remember alien species invasion, co-extinction, habitat loss and fragmentation, and then over exploitation. These are the four main reasons which are associated with loss of biodiversity. So they have given numerous examples that are related to that. Suppose if you start with the habitat loss and fragmentation first, we will see. So usually the tropical rainforest, how much area they cover usually in India? About 14% they cover. 14% of land surface is covered by these tropical rainforests. But for now they are covering only 6%. From 14% they are reduced to 6%. Means what? From 14% they are reduced to 6% means what? The tropical rainforest, suppose you take the example of South America Amazon rainforest, it is called as lungs of the planet. Why it is called as lungs of the planet? Because it gives so much amount of plants oxygen, as well as so much amounts of species are present there. So from 14% to 6%, if the area is decreased, why Amazon rainforest on it? Suppose you take the example, it is utilized for the cultivation of soya beans. So when you see for the cultivation of soya beans and all, when all this is happening, it is associated with habitat loss and fragmentation. Means so much habitat is lost if you cut down the forest, if deforestation and all take place, so much amount of land surface is decreased. So that is associated with decrease in number of species. So that is in turn associated with loss of biodiversity. So this is the main example that was given. The another example is over exploitation. Suppose we humans, for food, water and all, we depend on plants. So as well as some species of animals also we depend. Suppose we all intake goat and all. So we eat goat and all, right? So that we are and as well as forests also we are exploiting than normal. Suppose you need food only for few people, you're trying to provide for more amount of people. So many forests are cut down due to this reason, and there is over exploitation that is happening. So two main species which were affected due to over exploitation is passenger's pigeon as well as stellar sea cow. Stellar sea cow and passenger pigeon. These two main species are associated with overexploitation. Then co-extinction. Co-extinction means what? Two species will get extinct by both themselves only, they'll get extinct when they are surviving on each other. Suppose host, if it get extinct, obviously the parasite also will get extinct, because the parasite cannot feed on the host. It compulsory require the host to survive. If host only dies, then parasite will not be there. So host and parasite loss is taking place. So co-extinction. Then plant pollinator mechanism also. You see bees and all, they will pollinate the flowers of the plants. But if plants are only not there, or else if bees are only not there, will plants able to survive, or animals, the bees will able to survive? They should get food. These should take the pollination mechanism. If both are not happening, that is called as co-extinction. Co-systems, anything co you say, two systems are getting damaged here. So that is associated with co-extinction. Then the fourth important thing is alien species invasion. In alien species invasion, the most common example which was given is Nile perch. So Nile perch, which was introduced into the Australia, into Lake Victoria. Nile perch, which was introduced into Lake Victoria, it got extinct basically, because numerous, it was introduced from an other area into the alien, means what, from others it was introduced into one area. So alien species invasion means alien species are entering into one environment. So there the normal species got extinct there. So what is happening? Because of introduction of Nile perch, which was suppose it was belonging to South America, if it was introduced into India, 200 species of 200 species, not two normal 200 different varieties, 200 species of cichlid fish got extinct due to introduction of Nile perch into Lake Victoria. If this was not introduced, these 200 species of fishes would have survived. So, alien species invasion is also a compulsory problem which was associated with loss of biodiversity. Another famous example was African catfish. African catfish called as Clarius. It was also introduced into the environment, and it led to extinction of other species like Nile perch, this African catfish called as Clarius. This is also having a problem. When it was introduced into other species, they also got extinct. Numerous fishes got extinct. Like that, numerous other like lanthana seaweeds, numerous icornia seaweeds, numerous seaweeds are present. If they when they were introduced into the lake, other small plant species also got extinct. So this is classified under the term called as alien species invasion. So don't get so much confused. Loss of biodiversity only easy topic first and foremost. In this biodiversity also, when it is associated with loss of biodiversity, again it is very important and easy topic to be remembered. Like uh, normally 784 species got extinct, 15,000 species are going to get extinct. Then I have given examples for the species which got extinct already. Dodo moritus, which is belonging to stellar sea cow, is for Russia. Thylacine is for Australia. Then quagga is for Africa. Three species of tiger are Bali, Java, and Caspian. That is done. Then four evil quartet, which is associated with loss of biodiversity, is overexploitation, habitat loss and fragmentation, coexistence, alien species invasion. For each one example was given. Overexploitation, stellar sea cow, passenger pigeon. If they ask vice versa, overexploitation examples means this you should say, or stellar sea cow, passenger pigeon examples for that of which of these four steps means overexploitation. If you're exploiting more, species will get extinct. That's all. Stellar sea cow, passenger pigeon. Habitat loss and fragmentation, no specific examples were given. 14% of land surface is becoming 6% due to for about Amazon rainforests and all. That is habitat loss and fragmentation. when you are associated with that of co-extinction. Co-extinction means what? Two species will get extinct. Two species are going to get extinct. So that is co-extinction. Host and parasite, plant pollinator mechanism. Two examples we will give. Next, alien species invasion. When it is according to that of alien species invasion, then Nile perk, which was introduced into Lake Victoria, has damaged and got 200 species of cichlid fish were killed due to introduction of Nile perk. If this was not introduced, these would have not died. So that is alien species invasion. Next, African catfish, which is called as Clarius. This also is when it was introduced into the environment, so many species were dead, so many fishes were dead. So this is associated with again alien species invasion. Then numerous plants called as lantana and all numerous species. These also got extinct. Why they got extinct? Because normal plants got extinct due to introduction of these seaweeds. So these are the common examples which were given under each subtopic of loss of biodiversity. Next, till now we have seen how there is loss of biodiversity. From now we will see how to conserve the biodiversity. So, in this conservation of biodiversity, first, how is biodiversity, like how are species important for us? Suppose you take three arguments that are related: narrow utilitarian, broadly utilitarian, as well as ethical arguments. These three are important for that of conservation of biodiversity. If I say you to conserve biodiversity, will you all go and plant trees and all? No, I should tell you some uses. What are the uses of biodiversity? If I say you some uses only, you will get some motivation to do some things. So that is only classified under narrow utilitarian, broadly utilitarian, as well as ethical arguments. Narrow, then broad, ethical. Under these three, if I say these three only, you will conserve the nature. Narrow means what? How this biodiversity or plants or animals or species, how are all they important for us? Suppose if you're saying narrow utilitarian environment, narrow, then what is happening for us for surviving, for us food, how we get from plants? So much of suppose you all are using furnitures and all. If you cut down the forest trees only, you'll get the furniture, teak wood, rosewood and all. So like that for furnitures. For fossil fuels, or else for numerous cancer, numerous are treated by medicinal plants. From that only we are able to survive, or else if there are no medicinal plants, how we will be able to survive? Medicinal plants are very important. So for medicines also, the biodiversity, the like plants, animals, everything from animals also we derive some vaccines and all. So for all of this, the biodiversity conservation is important. So it is coming under narrow utilitarian thing. So under narrow utilitarian, food, firewood, fuels, medicines, about 25% of the medicines which we are deriving, not in microbiology and all. Normally, if we are deriving from plants only, all Ayurvedic medicines and all, everything we will get from plants only. So it is very important to conserve the nature for our benefit only, because we should get food, firewood, fuels, or medicines, everything we should get. So we should conserve the biodiversity. Next, broadly utilitarian means what? This is narrow minded, we are thinking. Like for food and all, we need medicinal plants. But for broader thinking way, if you think broadly, then you need so much amount of oxygen for the atmosphere from plants. So you believe or not, Amazon rainforest about during the process of photosynthesis means so many plants will be there. It is covering more than so many hectares of land. So when it is covering so many hectares of land, so much of oxygen is produced by those plants. So when so much of oxygen, broadly utilitarian environment is produced, so through the process of photosynthesis, about 20% of Earth's oxygen is produced by only a single forest that is called as Amazon rainforest. For the total world, about 20%, about 20% of oxygen is supplied for the total world by these Amazon rainforests only. So this is very useful for this mechanism. 20% of oxygen is needed for this Amazon rainforest. So by plants, numerous oxygen is produced. That is broad thinking. This is narrow thinking, like food, water, food or fuels, medicines and all. Broadly is by oxygen. Now ethical argument. Ethics means what? Because we are sharing the world with numerous plants and animals, only we can't survive. If imagine a world without animals and plants, are you able to survive? No. Where you will get oxygen, where you will get the food, where you will get the medicines? Nothing. So for the ethical argument also, like because we are sharing the earth with plants and animals, they should also be conserved. Like they should not be they should not get extinct from the world. They should also survive, right? So that is because we are sharing the planet. So this is associated with conservation of biodiversity. How is conservation taking place? Like narrow, broad, and ethical arguments. Under narrow, it is food, firewood, fuels, medicines. Under broad, it is the oxygen. They'll ask you under broadly utilitarian environment, how are plants and animals useful? Like plants are useful by producing oxygen. Narrow is food, firewood, fuels, and medicines. Ethically, we are sharing the planet with animals and plants. So this is about the conservation of biodiversity. Next, we are going to discuss about the how this conservation is taking place, how we are doing numerous things to conserve the biodiversity. So we humans, because of these all reasons, we are trying to conserve the biodiversity. So how this conservation is happening? By two methods. One is in-situ protection, another one is ex-situ protection. By in-situ, ex-situ. In-situ means on-site, on-site. Remember, I'll tell you. Ex-situ means off-site. In-situ on-site, inside on the site, ex-situ off the site, away from that. So basically, suppose you want to preserve a tiger. If you preserve only the tiger, then it is coming under ex-situ. If you are preserving the tiger along with that of forest, it is called as in-situ. So in-situ means tiger, remember, tiger with the forest. Ex-situ means only tiger you are preserving. I have given this as an example. Not only tiger, you can use any species like that. In-situ means on-site, there and there and there you are preserving. By on-site, that's why you say on-site. On the site only you are preserving. Here you are taking the tiger away and you are preserving. So this is the major difference between the in-situ, on-site, ex-situ, off-site, tiger with the forest, tiger, only tiger. Then, what are the common examples which were given? So, in-situ protection, numerous biodiversity hotspots were identified. Suppose for India, Western Ghats, there you see so many species. Himalayas, you see so many species. So these are called as Indo-Burma regions. There you see so many species. Here in these three areas, they are called as biodiversity hotspots because there only so much of biodiversity is there, and the species should not get extinct there because many species will be present. So they should not get extinct. So we have identified 34 biodiversity hotspots. Before they were 25 biodiversity hotspots. Now they become 34 biodiversity hotspots. 34 biodiversity hotspots means where biodiversity is getting like some, we are thinking some species will be lost there, then only we will try to conserve, right? So those species were spotted out where they are getting extinct. Suppose in Himalayas, in Western Ghats, they're getting extinct. So that is identified as one biodiversity hotspot. So almost before 25, now if they ask in it 34 biodiversity hotspots. I told you in biodiversity, numericals are important here. So 34 biodiversity hotspots were identified and they are spotted out. And where is in situ protection done? There are four types where it is done. That is Biosphere Reserves, 14 Biosphere Reserves, 90 National Parks, 448 Wildlife Sanctuaries, and sacred groves. And another famous term which is used in situ production is endemic species. Endemic species means what? Species which are confined to a specific area, and they are not pandemic, endemic, all are related terms. Pandemic means suppose corona is a pandemic because so many people are affected in India and the world also. It is a rapidly spreading disease. Endemic means species which are confined to a specific area. Means you will find suppose tigers only in one area. In West Bengal only you see tigers. In any other area you don't see tigers. Then this is an example. If you see only in a specific area, species which are confined to a specific area are called as endemic species. So these four biosphere reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, sacred groves. These are the four main things where you see the in situ protection which is done. Means these all are on site only. Suppose biosphere reserves, national park, wildlife sanctuaries, these all were not created by humans. If they are created by humans, that is called as ex situ production. Suppose you see a forest, there are so many uh, plants you see or animals you see, you classify it under one thing like biosphere reserve or national park, like that. If you are taking this tiger and keeping in some park like zoos or you say botanical gardens, these all created by man, where you go and take the species and put them there, that is called as ex situ protection. In situ is different. First learn about one. In situ means on site production. Tiger with the forest is preserved here. Till now, 34 biodiversity hotspots were seen. Biodiversity hotspots means what? Where species are going to get extinct. And endemic species means species which are confined to a specific area. 14 biosphere reserves, 90 national parks, 448 sanctuaries, and sacred groves. So, sacred groves examples like Aravali Hills of Rajasthan. You see so many hills in Rajasthan, Aravali Hills, or else Western Ghats of Karnataka. These all are sacred groves. They are all seen naturally, right? We didn't create them. Aravali Hills of Rajasthan, Western Ghats of Karnataka, these all are Sri Lanka, these all are sacred groves where numerous animals and plants are preserved or conserved, you can say. Then 448, I want you all to remember the number regarding this. 14 only biosphere reserves are there in India, 90 only national parks, 448 wildlife sanctuaries. Numbers are important. How many biodiversity hotspots means 34. How many species? 14. 90 national parks, 448, like that. So this is about the in-situ protection. Ex-situ means again it is off-site only tiger you preserve. In the next class we will discuss about the ex-situ protection. Then we will end the chapter of biodiversity. Next we are going to continue in ecology only with environmental issues like water pollutions and all. How do we waste water management or water management, soil management and all we will see in the next class. Okay.